everybody. Welcome to the Football Pundits. We're back, the three of us. It's the front three of the Football Pundits, Animesh Thakkar, Karan Rateria, and myself, Abhishek Iyer. And today we're going to be doing the worst team of the season, of the Premier League 2019-2020 season. So we'll jump straight into it. Just to make things interesting, we won't go back to front like we usually do. We'll go front to back. So we'll start with the strikers, right? And to be honest to everyone watching, this is not a subject that people actually study too much on or do too much research about. So we might have too many differing opinions here, but do let us know what you think in the chats and obviously when you do share this video out. Right, so Karan, we'll get straight to it. In a front three, or maybe it's the worst lineup, right? So let's go for an old, outdated 3-5-2 or a 4-5-1. But who's your first forward to lead this worst Premier League team of the season?
For me, it'll be Sebastian Haller. He came in with so many expectations.
Yeah.
He to deliver. Did absolutely nothing. Everyone had him in their FPL team when we started. And if someone stuck with him, then they're probably languishing in like the 7 millionth position out of 7 million players.
Yeah. So Karan goes for Sebastian Haller from West Ham. Any?
For me, it would be Moise Kean again. The Everton rebuild up for Marco Silva that clearly went downhill very quick, and he didn't turn out to be the player they thought he would be. Ill-disciplined, didn't show up on the pitch even when he was. In fact, he was brought on into a game and substituted before the game ended itself to tell you that the faith the manager had in him. So, Moise Kean for me.
Before we settle the first one, Annie, I'll throw that back at you. Who's number two for you then?
Timo Pukki. Yes, he had a great start to the season. A lot of hype on build up on him. Wasn't really his fault that the whole team around him collapsed. But if he was a striker they built him up to be, he definitely didn't back himself either. So, yep.
Yep, fair enough. Who's your second, Karan? And I'll tell you why I'm doing it in this format. Who's your second?
But you can pick, then I know. So then
I'm trying to find one common pick. I can't find a single common pick.
Okay, so I'm going to make that common pick and go with Moise Kean. I think agree. Came in with too many expectations, did nothing.
Okay, so obviously our first striker in the worst team of the 11 is Moise Kean. My second striker then to lead this attack would be Christian Benteke. What are your thoughts on him? Because I thought very expensive signings. He's built as the Drogba, Lukaku types, you know, the powerful sort of centre forward. So what's your thoughts on?
Yeah, man. I mean, Benteke has been in the Premier League for so long, and he should be getting at least a few. Like he should be getting double-digit odds per every season, right? He can just be doing that. Has decent
and getting by. Yeah.
If I had to pick between Benteke and Pukki, I'd pick Benteke because Pukki chal Norwich mein reh ke did something, you know, whatever bare minimum. So between those, I'd pick Benteke.
All right, Annie, what about you? So Benteke settles our second striker. Are we going for a third striker, Annie, or do you want to change formation?
I mean, if we, for the sake of just for this conversation, would add a third striker, yes, Karan. For the sake of it, we would add a third striker or a third player who's been actually quite poor this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you all will laugh at me a little bit, but I would say Bernardo Silva, I thought, had the best season. He wasn't able to...
Worst punditry of the season
award. Yeah, worst punditry of the season award. Definitely, dude.
I would put him on the right.
This is where you realize that Annie, by heart, is a pure, honest Manchester United fan. So, you know, forgive him for that. Good. Change formation, or do we still want to go for it?
Change formation, I guess.
So I'm going to put
in what he said, but yeah, all right.
I'm going to put in the number 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my empathy, my sympathy with the guys because he's dealt with a lot off the pitch in terms of personal struggles and all of that. So not making fun of any of that, but in the end, this is about his impact on pitch, and it's been thoroughly disappointing. We had no one before Bruno, absolutely no one. So it's not like he wasn't given the chances. He was given enough chances. Unfortunately, it's just...
Look, we're here to rate players on how they are when we watch them on the pitch, right? It doesn't matter what your personal life is. Daniel James came into the Premier League making his dream, having just lost his father. Right. Everyone has circumstances, right? So fair point, Jesse Lingard. Annie, I'll let you go first because I agree with Karan, but I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Karan. For me, Jesse Lingard, honestly, I thought the goal against Leicester would be the last game of his United career. But after that, his post said he might stay on. Man, look, off-field struggles, just can't make fun of that. Obviously, it must be very hard, difficult to be in place. But he got the chances. He got week in, week out to play. He was part of the thick of things. He wasn't even isolated or frozen out. It would be, for me, a very close battle between him and Andres Pereira, but I think Lingard takes the cake for the amount of time he's gone in this squad over the last 4-5 seasons, not just now.
All right, so then that settles our front two with the number 10 behind him. Or did we do 3?
2.
No, we did 2. Annie's punditry, of course, took us away. Good one there, Annie. So agree on Jesse Lingard. So therefore, that gives us the 2 in front, and Jesse becomes one of the 4 in midfield. Let's talk about some of the wingers who have absolutely not shown this season. Anyone that comes to mind right off the bat?
Alex Iwobi, man. He was supposed to be such a big talent.
30 million signing, dude.
Such a big talent, and when Arsenal let go of him, like, oh my God, what are Arsenal doing? How can they let go of him? He's going to absolutely, light the league on fire. So Alex Iwobi, man.
Yep. Annie?
I'm looking at any other winger which I thought didn't live up to their hype.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one, because I think in that case I would have to slip into maybe Aston Villa. I'm trying to remember the player's name right now. I'm really struggling.
I'll give you two right up.
If I'm not mistaken,
Douglas Luiz.
I was about to, but again, he was not traditionally a winger. Someone who did start playing on the wing but didn't do too much for them towards the season was El Ghazi, I think.
El Ghazi, Egyptian.
El Ghazi for me was someone who was picked to be that guy who would probably be just a level below Jack Grealish on the lines of Trezeguet, right? Trezeguet in the end just about did enough. But I think between Trezeguet and El Ghazi, I would still say El Ghazi is the one unfortunate who makes it for me.
Yeah. I agree with both of your options, actually. I agree with El Ghazi, and I completely agree with Alex Iwobi. He was supposed to be a catalyst for who signed him? Everton.
Yep.
He was supposed to be a catalyst for Everton.
The season he's had, where did he play? That's the kind of season he had.
I'm like, did he go to Everton? Because I remember seeing him in blue, or did he go to Brighton or for some big astronomical fee? But go on.
Yeah. So no, that's what I was saying. Yeah. So I guess that's how wingers done.
I'm guessing. Unless you want to throw in a random option again, since we've been doing this for everybody, again, you can't really say for sure that it's been a flop season for him. But with the hype that they had and with his age and his last season performance, Harry Wilson for Bournemouth, anybody? I don't know. And they've been relegated now. So last year he was built to be.
I'll agree with you on the drop. I completely agree with that, because at the end of last season, at the same time, we were sat saying, dude, Harry Wilson is he's playing. He was the Jack Grealish last year. Playing for a relegation club, should move to a bigger side.
If you want to take an argument, since we said El Ghazi and Trezeguet, I have Harry Wilson and Fraser. Again, Bournemouth. Tough one.
My only thing in this is, I think, again, struggled with injuries for a part of the
Fraser did, which is why I would give him benefit of the doubt.
Which is why, out of the options that are given, I'm more comfortable going with Iwobi and El Ghazi on the wings.
That's it, then we agree on that.
Special shout out to Norwich's remaining 10 players apart from Pukki for being so poor this season that they're not even coming up in our consideration sets, because we don't even know their names to a large extent, except for the Cantwells and the That's why special shout out for them in this special episode altogether.
11. The 11 are the worst player. Obviously, my tables are Norwich 11, and then this is the rest of the league 11.
And a semi shout out to Aston Villa as well, because while you've got Butchard and all, boss, that's not a squad that's worth 100 million transfer market from any angle. So anyway, so speaking of, so we've done Jesse Lingard, we've done the front two, and we've done 2 with Jesse. So that gives us one more player in midfield, right? So we should do the 4-4-2. So are we looking at a defensive unit now? Are we looking, because we've got Jesse, we've got 2 wingers. Who are we looking at now?
I will settle this argument for you. And Ndombele for Spurs. End and start right there. Look, he's not fit into the squad under both managers. He's been backed by Mourinho, given special training, and we saw the lockdown debacle and my God, they were social distancing.
Did you think he had a good return to Project Restart?
No. Where has he featured again after a few games, barely a few games, and he was subbed off even in that. If you saw him playing, he looked like he was running out of energy after the first 10 minutes. For me, I don't know if it's the player again, personally, if he has any off-field issues, but we're talking about on-field. What we've seen over the whole season, definitely nobody else takes that position over him for me.
I have a very different hot take on this, and it's going to rile a few feathers. But Naby Keita, he's unlike Ndombele, he's had a while in the league, and he was part of a team that are shining. And Ndombele was still part of a troubled team. Okay, no settlement around him, managers changing, Jose didn't like him, blah blah blah, all of that. Naby Keita had this team around him, man, and he still couldn't shine like he was supposed to. He was supposed to be the Bruno in some senses, and I just by those things, you disappointed. Also, shout out to Wijnaldum for going full 2 seasons now without an assist. second Premier League season done. He's completed
Yeah,
2
yeah,
Premier League
yeah.
seasons without an assist.
But I mean, this is the stat man saying, right? On the field, he's contributed a lot, man. I
Yeah,
rate
I
him. I think
mean,
he's a great
And
player.
which is our pick of the two is Keita. I just wanted to put that Wijnaldum.
I kind of get
the fun in
if-
this episode.
if we were playing with two CDMs, I guess I would push Keita back and just go for Keita and Ndombele. But just because while visually watching both the players, I still say Keita giving 2% spark where Ndombele is on -2. That's where I would go. Abby?
Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly very, very caught between the two. And the problem with me right now is that, again, like I started this episode, you just don't know who to think of, right? I'm kind of caught between the two. If Matic didn't have the kind of recovery and the transformation that he's had after Project Restart, right? He was right up there for me, man, because, experienced Premier League champion to sort of have a decline that he has had. Dude, he was in the wilderness before Project Restart. Complete. Remember, as United fans, we keep saying, who do we sell? He was one of the first names with Jesse Lingard, right? So kudos to him for getting himself out of this list. And therefore, I think I'll go with Ndombele because Ndombele and Matic were in the same boat before Project Restart. Even after Project Restart, Ndombele hasn't been favored by Mourinho.
Was bad, but he wasn't Ndombele bad. I don't think anyone was Ndombele bad. That's
The problem with Ndombele was actually more of what he was doing behind the scenes, right? He wasn't a Mourinho guy. And I also feel Mourinho has agendas, right? When he comes in, he wants to take on the top man. You're my top player, 70 million, I'm going to take you on. I'm just saying that there is that cloud of error of judgment, right?
But he was initially also dropped by Pochettino, right? His work ethic was in question. So let's not get too much into
which
this.
is why I'm going for Ndombele as the worst player.
Let's move on to defense since we've spent too much time in the midfield. More than Ndombele has spent on the pitch.
Much like these midfielders have to.
More than Ndombele has spent on the pitch for Spurs. So let's move on.
Yeah. So my first pick for defense, guys, is someone who I also had very high expectations of this season. He also belongs to Aston Villa in a transfer that I thought was very good for them. Matt Targett. What a letdown.
I don't know. Can't take this. I'm very confused.
He wasn't in
I have a special place for Shkodran Mustafi in any sports worst 11 because he belongs there. But we'll come to that. I'm just saying Matt Targett because if you remember him last year, even remember him from an FPL standpoint. He was the Doherty and he was the Lundstrom of last year. He had that great a season. This year, I was excited. He's one of those talents you just look out for because he's transferred. He had a great season. Maybe for me, he was one of those guys. I looked out for him this year and he almost relegated his team.
Honestly, I didn't. Yeah, probably that's because you sort of had that eye for him from the start.
Yeah.
Correct. Like my bad back four, I didn't even strike me because I didn't even.
Because he's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, just as average, like how we said with Norwich players, didn't even strike me. So I think if I'm picking one of my, say, fullbacks or centre backs, one of the big names for me is Cancelo. Came into City, which is supposed to be such a big name and supposed to change. And City have had their injuries in fullback, and Pep is a manager who loves to rotate. Right. Despite all of that, he couldn't do anything, so which is why he's my shout out and all the standouts for the bad defenders.
If I had to look at the wingers, I think Cancelo takes a fit for me as well. The money coming in, for me, he was supposed to actually displace Kyle Walker because Pep was losing actual patience with Walker because of the mistakes he made last year. Walker fought back and Cancelo clearly had no answer. That I think should talk about his caliber and the fact that he remained injury free and still didn't get into the squad should tell you even more about how the expectations didn't live up, I guess. Yeah. Cancelo definitely for me. Yeah. Now if I look at the other side, right, I don't think I have any one particular flop that I would like to talk about. Now see, again, Mendy had injuries. For me, otherwise, he had actually quite a few poor games when he started. But because he had the injuries he had, I think for me, he escapes, just about escapes for me. So again, on the flip side, I will look at another player. Maybe you guys might not agree with me on this one. Aaron Cresswell for West Ham. I feel the experience that he carried and the form that he's shown week in, week out in the Premier League.
Now I get what I did to you. Now I get what I did to you. No idea. Like I don't know how to even comment on that. Like
I know.
So we'll have to listen to you obviously because you watched him closely, right? I just have no recollection.
I know he had a few injuries in the start. Like he did have injury issues as well. But if you look at the side like West Ham and you look at the defense and you had Fredericks, he's a younger player. You had Bono. You had Masuaku as another backup winger. I know those guys are not really... So for an experienced player who's been part of this setup for a very, very long time, the fact that they ended up where they were in the doldrums, if you were talking about midfield, I would have even said Mark Noble's not had a great season. But
Hey, come on,
defensively
what are you
stand
saying?
up. Defensive, but if I had to put it on a defensive failure, I would say Cresswell had an underwhelming season for me.
Okay, so the jury is out here.
I'm going to give Abby. I'm going to give you an easier option. So I think Annie agreed on Cancelo for one side.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you another option for the other side, which is a name all of us know, Dalo. Similar situation as Cancelo, just in the way that he had his options, couldn't really cement a fullback position where we clearly lacked depth.
But he also had a 2.5 month injury layoff as well. So that's
And
a tough
he
one.
had Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing ahead of him, man. I just
when he was
feel...
Either wing, I'm just saying. He could have...
I mean,
when Shaw was injured, he couldn't really do anything. He didn't even get a sniff in the starting 11.
if you're considering players who were injured, then Holebas for Watford. I mean, Watford are injured. Holebas was a big name, yeah. So
Fair enough. Can
So
we all
I'm-
lock on Squadron Mustafi so we have some defensive security over here? Do you guys agree on Mustafi at centre back?
I would take Socrates, Mustafi, David Luiz. You can add all three of them there. You can like
So
fit it
how
into
about
one.
when we do the infographic for this, we'll just put Arsenal as one centre back. So guys, in our special tribute to Arsenal, we're gonna literally actually put Arsenal over there because dude, they have been. It's their defense, right? Because attack wise, Laka, Pope, Saka, Nketiah, Aubameyang, there were still some positives from the season, right? Their negatives were just their defense. Great. Second set, centre back. We'll come to the last full back, maybe between Cresswell, Target, and I hadn't asked Kern who his second full back is for
Dalot.
most of the season. Dalot, correct. So we'll come back to Dalot, Cresswell, and Target towards the end. Do you guys have a centre back ready in mind? Or David Luiz? But oh shit, that's already covered.
I'm going to say Bournemouth. Bournemouth became, I'm going to go into slightly stats or whatever. First side to concede 60 plus goals in 5 consecutive Premier League campaigns. So, just by that, I think the centre backs need to be looked at. And this is why I'm going to pick out Nathan Ake. He's supposed to be so good. As with the other names we were saying, acha ye kaun hai? Nathan Ake is not one of those. He's supposed to be good. Like, he's supposed to be linked with United and blah, blah, blah. So just because of all of that, Nathan Ake for me.
Again, I don't know if I would go for Bournemouth only because all their players, Steve Cook, Adam Smith, Nathan Ake, they've had so many injuries coming in and out. I don't think the lack of consistency in that backline was the reason for the goals conceded, not just one player. So again, if I had to go in for a defender or centre back, who's been poor and the side got relegated, I would say experienced Dawson from Watford. And if you particularly saw him in the last game against Arsenal, he was at fault for the penalty given away and Aubameyang's overhead goal. That should not happen. If you see that performance and if he holds on in both those cases, Watford get a draw or a win and they could probably have a lucky escape, right? So Dawson for me, as in poor all year.
Shit, this is going to be tough now because my option, and it's again Hatke, it's like the Arsenal option. So what are defenders bought for, right? You buy in a defense, you bring in a defender to defend your team's actions, right? So there was a team that brought in a defender, a game-changing defender this season. The team was the Referees Association and they brought in VAR. And I think VAR has been one of the worst things that have happened this season. And for the sake of some banter in this video, I'm saying I go for VAR. But
you just get Abby right.
Yeah, I'm just going to... This is a mutiny in this video. There's a mutiny in the video.
Guys,
we're moving towards the keeper. And there's one keeper.
Guys,
please,
one
not a keeper.
sec. This is the Football Pundits. We battle for everything, including worst pundit. Don't forget that. So yeah, so going into
really close here with Bernardo Silva and VAR centre back picks.
Please,
no, one sec. Before we move into keepers,
I didn't
how about we
justify
finish?
myself that way.
How about we finish the fullback? Do we have? Because I'm kind of now steering towards Diogo Dalot, even though I know he was injured. I think when he had the opportunity after Project Restart, he absolutely shat himself. And for the sake of having someone in that place, I'm going to go with Diogo Dalot because there is some semblance there. And he just help us lock the centre back then. I know you went for Dawson, but who would you sort of look at?
Editor's pick.
Yep, I'm just going to go with Dawson. I've seen him playing a few games for Watford, and I feel that for the experience he's had, that's someone who has to stand up and keep you. Ben Foster can only do so much. That guy can't save everything. And if you have centre backs in front of you help you, you stay up. And the last game itself, you could tell that's a sign of the poor season he's had. For me, it should be Dawson.
So coming to the goalkeeper, unanimously, let's say together in
not
3,
a keeper.
2, 1.
Kepa, Bagi,
Kepa.
Kepa.
That's right, guys. All right. So did we get the final 11 or do we still have a fullback left?
Done,
No,
done.
we got the 11. That's
Diego
how
Dallo
confusing
seals-
this was clearly because you've asked for Dallo like some 4 times of Abby and prolonged the discussion for 4 more minutes for no reason. But yes, we've got our final 11.
All right, guys. So
Flop
that
11.
was our Football Pundits worst team of the Premier League 2019-20 season. If you like this video, give us a subscribe. Don't forget to share this video because it makes absolutely no sense and that's what people like to watch these days. So on behalf of the Football Pundits, that's Karan Rateria, Animesh Thakkar, Abhishek Iyer. See you next time.